The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I want to go back to the case of Alan Gross because I think it goes to the larger issue of treatment of American citizens generally in Cuba and our government's response to it. Are you familiar with the upcoming date of February 24th and its significance in U.S.-Cuba relations?
Remind me.
February 24th, 1996, to be specific.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Are you referring to the...
I'm referring
right.
to the date in which 4 Americans were murdered over international waters by the Cuban dictatorship. 4 Americans murdered on February 24th, 15th anniversary coming up. I suspect your department will be issuing a statement, or the White House will be issuing a statement, once again condemning that inhumane and brutal act. With respect to Alan Gross, I'm wondering, you don't consider him to be a hostage. Do you consider his incarceration lawful?
I think it's unlawful, yeah.
So how would you describe him then? A detainee, unlawful combatant, prisoner? How would you describe Alan Gross?
I haven't thought about it semantically. He's a detainee, I guess.
Detainee. Has the Castro dictatorship made any effort? I know they've discussed publicly links between Alan Gross and other issues such as the Cuban Five. Have they privately, or in any discussions, any negotiations, made any effort to link the Alan Gross case with any other issue whatsoever?
No, they have not. Not to my knowledge.
Every discussion that has come up regarding Alan Gross has never made reference to any other issue related to U.S.-Cuba relations.
When we've had our conversations with them on things like the migration talks, and we've raised the issue of Alan Gross, they have complained about, they have a long litany of complaints against the United States, but there has never been on our part or on their part any specific linkage. With regards
such as in that litany? Such as? Has the Cuban Five ever been raised?
Yeah, no. Not that I know. Not that I am aware of. I haven't been in all conversations with the Cubans.
Have any sanctions against the government been raised?
No. We have not discussed sanctions with the government of Cuba.
So when you say they've raised a litany of issues, what would be an example of the litany?
Concerns over the embargo and...
so sanctions.
The embargo is sanctions.
Okay. So they've discussed the lifting of sanctions in connection with discussions about Alan Gross. Recently, I know Alan Gross's wife was able to visit Mr. Gross. And at the same time, I believe one of the wives of the Cuban Five spies was able to visit. Was that a coincidence?
There were 2 wives were able to visit, or one. I can't remember what. And this was that particular discussion with them. It was not coincidental. You're right, Congressman.
It was not coincidental. Yeah. And then in that case, let me refer you to Webster's dictionary and the definition of hostage. A person held by one party as a pledge pending the fulfillment of an agreement, or a person taken by force to secure the taker's demand. Now, you've told me that there was no coincidence in the visitation. You've told me they've raised the issue of sanctions in discussion with Alan Gross. So I will ask you again, based on this definition of hostage, do you believe Alan Gross is a hostage? Actually,
I'm gonna backtrack on my comment, Congressman. There was an effort made earlier to have those visitations, and that did not go through. So the timing on that was not directly linked to Gross, because we had there was an effort earlier to try to look at the visitations. But and if you want to call it hostage, I'm happy to agree with you. If you want to call it a hostage, I think he's a detainee.
Well, if you agree with me that he is a hostage, perhaps a detainee,
Yeah.
You said earlier in response to my colleague's question on efforts to release this hostage that we continue to insist he be released.
Exactly.
Is that
Exactly. We
the
continue to
extent
insist
of
he's
the
released.
administration's efforts
We
to
continue to
release
insist
an
he's
American
released.
hostage named Alan Gross in Cuba?
We continue to insist that they release him. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.